Hey guys, welcome back. So today on Modern Masters Auto, it is a snow day. And what not a better day to teach you guys how to appropriately rebuild the M156 cam phasers than a day like today. As you can see, there's a beautiful SL63 behind me. That vehicle is equipped with an M156 that is known to have these issues with the cam phasers. The exhaust and the intake cam phasers move to adjust timing for cold start, for high revs, whatever have you. Rusty can go into the details of what exactly they do, the sciencey stuff inside the engine. So they go bad, they wear out. It's a huge problem with these engines, along with old style head bolts and the cam lobes wearing out, tappets being worn out. You guys are really familiar with this stuff from our other videos, but in this video alone, we are just going to dive in and we are going to just do the cam phaser today. We're going to rebuild one intake and one exhaust cam phaser today, just so you guys know this is the video on the internet to go to when you're doing this. If you guys seen the short with the CLK 63 that's been to 3 shops, 3 engines before it got here, all of it was just for top end problems that wiped several motors out because it was done incorrectly. Timing was done wrong, and this last time the cam phasers were actually done wrong. The bolts backed out, it completely put it out of time, and pistons met valves, destroyed the engine. And today also, I have some engines to show you guys, some short blocks, one to that CLK, and one that is like the just gold of M156 engines. It's what we all dream to have. So without further ado, let's get started. All right guys, we have several M156s here. As you can note, the first one is about to be stripped down here. This is for a full build. The second one here is a short block that came in. This is a beautiful low mileage, 70,000 mile short block out of a C63 that we will be cleaning up and putting back together for the CLK 63 that you've seen completely wiped out, that had just a bunch of incorrectly put together top end parts that ruined a perfectly good motor. So we're going to rebuild this bad boy ground up for that guy with the CLK. This right here is the block we're about to fully assemble in another video. It's getting head studs. I believe they're sitting in this motor, but it's getting VRP head studs. This engine right here is going for the Whipple wagon. We had to get a different timing cover for it. The timing cover was bad, so we replaced the timing cover and we're about to fully assemble that for the M156 W211 Whipple wagon. I'm excited to finish that now that we have this sorted out. And then this right here, check this out. Really beautiful holographic dart and sleeve, forged pistons, forged rods, M156 engine that we all wish we had. That is beautiful. That is for a Whipple C63. It is just going to be an awesome build, awesome motor. This is the cream of the crop right here, and just what you would really want if you went all out on an M156. Which is cool. We have an M157 coming, a couple of them that are in the same condition. So I'm excited to see the short block variant of the M157 that's built, forged just like this. But just look at it. I just want to set it in my living room. I think Kevin would kill me, but yeah, it's beautiful. All right, Rusty, my man, what do you got going on?
We are demonstrating once again how to rebuild the cam phasers.
All right.
So we'll get our packaging opened up here. And we have our stage 10 plates from VRP.
Yes.
You can do your little spiel there.
Yeah, these are just reinforced, better plates from VRP, so they get the business done. You can get these plates from vrpspeed.com. Show them the intake and exhaust version, just how they're different.
So what you'll notice here is, so you'll see how this cutout here is on this side on one, and it is on the opposite side on the other. So whenever you take the old phasers apart, you want to pay attention to see what the backing plate on that one you took off of looks like, because they're not labeled or anything like that. So make sure you do them one at a time like I do, and you just match it up and you'll never have a problem. Because if you match these up, the cam's gonna be able to rotate in the wrong direction and you're gonna have a bad time.
Timing. of that joke was perfect.
All right, so I'm just gonna knock out these T30s right here.
Let's get these loose on this one.
You want to be careful when you slide this back because there is a little plastic piece on a spring right here. You do not want to lose that sucker. They have a habit of shooting out of there. So I'm going to set him off to the side, and then what I like to do is just separate the gear from the bottom right here. So hit him off there, and then we're going to push up from the bottom, and that's going to get that star wheel out of there. There is a spring inside of there. We'll get him in a second. And you can see how filthy these are on the inside. Someone was using the inside.
Yeah, that's not liquid moly. You can smell it. If you're curious what liquid moly smells like, it smells like victory.
All right.
Ooh, we got some wear there, buddy.
And then to get this spring out of there, I'll take one of these bolts, push him out, and set him over here with that little plastic piece you don't want to lose. And then since we have this one off, you want to match it up with the new one. You can see there that little slot, that wear down in there compared to the new one. This one's nice and sharp, and these are getting worn out. So got him wiped down, cleaned off, and you'll see that pin right there is going to line up in the hole right there. Make sure it's seated down the whole way. And now we can take this, which I'm going to wipe that off. And you'll see on this star wheel here that there's still the washer on the back here from the cam. So I always take this time right here to knock those out. Just push it out of there. You don't want to risk putting this back together on the cam with two washers on or reusing that washer. Always replace the friction washers. As you can see on this one here, it's already out. So what you want to do is check the cam that you took this off of to make sure it's not sticking to it. Because once again, you put two washers on there, you're gonna have a bad time. All right, so we have this mostly cleaned up. You don't have to go too crazy. And slide him down in there like so. Make sure it rotates back and forth easily, no resistance. So now we can drop in the pin, and we're going to make sure that the pin doesn't have any rounded edges on it. There's no excessive wear from it riding against the plate. This looks good. So we'll drop him down in the hole. He's not going to seat the whole way just yet. Very little resistance. He's going to slide in there. Once it gets filled with oil pressure, he'll slide back and forth just fine. Go ahead and get the spring and the little plastic cap on there. And now we can line up the gear on the bottom, line it up with the holes, and we can put the skeleton cover on top. Also going to look for any kind of excessive wear on this. You can see right here, that is where that little plastic piece has been rubbing. Perfectly normal. Don't feel any kind of roughness or anything to it. This one's good to go. And I think I'll usually make sure it doesn't go back in the same spot. So we'll put it this way. And that way it doesn't continue to wear in at one spot, and it's like putting a fresh one on here. So now that that one is back together, we can clean these bolts up. Nothing too excessive, just don't want to be putting them in there full of oil to mess up with any kind of torque specs, anything like that. We'll spin this a little bit until it drops down into a hole. And then keep cleaning these up right here. And I'm just gonna run this down with my fingers just to keep everything together before we torque it. And one thing I forgot to mention is you want to check which one this is. So you'll be able to see it says Ein right there. That would be your intake. And the other one over here is your exhaust. So that's why it's so important you have the right backing plate on each one, because they will be spinning in different directions to advance the cam. Like Craig was saying before, they actually don't do anything cold start. That pin is locked cold start, so everything is just as the vehicle is timed. And then once you get the engine warmed up and you're driving down the road, it will release that pin, and then fluid pressure will turn against that star wheel inside there and advance or retard the cam. So that's why you'll hear these rattle on cold start, because that pin is rattling around there when it's supposed to be seated. But once you get driving, start driving everything, it's really not an issue. It's really just to keep it seated at cold start. You'll also notice that a lot of newer cars, they don't have EGR valves like cars did in like the 80s, 90s, and even before then. And that is because with variable valve timing, it can retard the cam or advance it to extend the duration of the exhaust as you're just cruising down the road. And what that does is keeps the cylinder cooler, so you no longer need the EGR valve, which is great because those EGR valves are terrible for engines. They'd be pumping all that junk back into the intake and clogging everything up. So I love variable valve timing. It's such a better way to manage your emissions with your car and your performance. So the fact that they can just, with oil pressure, advance your timing and get more power is great to me. So we got this one apart here. Let's check out the wear on this one. Pretty bad. So we'll grab that pin. You can see he was just kind of laying there crooked like that, and that's that rattle you get on cold start where it's just flopping around there. And the biggest thing about working on these cars is finding the correct torque specs and the wiring diagrams. It's just been the biggest struggle because you don't know really who to trust on the internet. Even a lot of times with the shop manuals that we pay for online, a lot of the information is correct. I'll look up a wiring diagram or a torque spec and it'll say it's for M156, but it's actually for like an E500 or something that's completely unrelated. They just throw in a picture and say good enough. So don't trust everything you see unless it's directly from Mercedes, and don't listen to everything you see on the internet because they're messing things up too. So get this guy out of the way here. Get this cleaned up a little bit. Make sure everything moves freely in there. Make sure there's nothing, no junk in the middle. I'll set that down. Clean up the wheel a little bit. And always make sure this moves freely. I've had a couple from a different company where they really hard to move, and they recommend taking the plate back off and sanding it with some emery cloth. And then there's also like a break-in procedure they recommend, but with the VRP ones, I've never had an issue. They are always good to go. No break-in or sanding on your very expensive part required. This guy on there like so. We'll see. Oh, plastic thing's trying to escape. We'll put our plate on there, a different spot. And we'll clean these up. And we're good to torque them down. And since the other one was the intake, We'll verify this one here. Aus, that is your exhaust. All right, so we have our rag on a vise, just to make sure it doesn't scratch up the phaser. And it doesn't take a whole lot of force just to kind of keep it from spinning whenever you torque it. There's not really a lot of torque on these either, so it's not like you're torquing it down a lot. So just enough to keep it so it's not going to spin with just a little bit of force on there. And what we're going to do is we're going to torque these to 15 Newton meters. And we're going to do that in stages and also in a star pattern. So I like to break that up into 3 stages. So we'll go with 8 Newton meters at first. And with this torque wrench, since it has the digital display, I can just go a little bit and you'll see it'll show me where I'm at. So I like to go around to 8 Newton meters, and it doesn't have to be exact. What I'm trying to prevent here is just going straight to 15 on one, and then what can happen is, since these are rotating parts on the inside, it can bind and twist this a little bit. So I like to go step by step, and doing it this way I've never had an issue. And it also just helps to make sure everything is slowly seated. So all those are about 8 Newton meters. And the second pass, I'll go up to 12. Oh, so need just a little bit tighter on the vise there. And now for the important one, we're going to do the full 15 on this one. So we'll stop when we hear it beep. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this one's ready to go. I'll set him down over here, switch it out for this one, and we'll do the same thing. Starting out with 8 Newton meters. And if you notice my current collection of backing plates back there, I think I have a bucket of them somewhere. So this is a very, very common occurrence around here. We also offer this as a service to where if you don't feel comfortable doing this yourself, you can send us your phasers and your new backing plates, and I will rebuild them for you. So just give us a call, email us, get a hold of us however you like, mail us your stuff, and I'll send you back fixed stuff. And it's easy as that. Now obviously this isn't a full set, this is just a 2, just for demonstration today. But as long as you're keeping those backing plates in order, that's all there is to it. And these are good to go for another 100,000 miles, or longer actually. I've yet to see a hardened set fail yet. So who knows how long they'd last, probably forever. I think we've pulled a set off that had 30,000 miles on it, and there was no wear at all on these whatsoever. I know I took my car apart recently, took the phasers out of it. My car has probably close to that since the last time I had them out, and they look brand new. So definitely worth investing in.
Rusty, you did a wonderful job with these. So guys, remember, now that he's finished these up, we do this service for anyone who just doesn't feel comfortable and wants it rebuilt safely. You can still order these from VRP. Put in the comments when you order these from VRP's website that you would like them sent, drop shipped to Modern Masters for them to rebuild. VRP will send them here. You send us your phasers, or you can call Rachel and we will send you a core charge, and we will build these phasers with cores of ours, and then to get your core charge back, you send yours in later. But we will fully take care of this for you. Just send them in. You can email vrpspeed.com or email us at modernmastersauto@gmail.com, and we will set this up for you. So yes, better safe than sorry if you don't feel comfortable doing that. But in this video, you can see this is a step-by-step guide of exactly how to do it. Just do it like the guy does it, Russell Baker, and you will be fine. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a big thumbs up.
Share with your friends.
And subscribe. But most importantly, call Darren at VRP and have him send them here so we can build these for you. I'll see all of you on the next one.